My name is Cameron Ford, and I live in Chico, California, and I am a singer-songwriter here in town. I'm also the host of this program that I'm calling Long Gone Locals, which is a group of old MP3s that I salvaged from a friend's laptop. Thank you to Travis Zachary for giving us all of these old Chico band MP3s. We're going to be listening to these today, and we actually have a guest on the show. Today's guest is Travis Wuerthner from the Americas. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello, Travis.
Hello.
Travis is going to be with me on this nice, wonderful ride through old Chico band history. You're listening to KZFR, and the first song that we're actually going to listen to today is a song called Photographs by Isabel. Nice. You're listening to KZFR. That was Isabel with their song Photographs. I'm sitting here with Travis Wuerthner from the Americas. My name is Cameron Ford. We're going through a lot of old music today. This one, I don't know, Travis, when would you guess this song was even released? When did they record this?
This would probably have been recorded in either 2000 or 2001.
First of all, who's in Isabel? It's Ben Teets.
It's Ben's band.
Okay.
He started with Alex Trout and Casey Dietz and Trevor Sellers.
Okay.
Well, Alex was in my band, Micromagnesia.
What kind of places were you guys playing back then when this song Photographs was being jammed in Chico?
I got to add, Trevor was in Micromag too.
Okay, cool.
He was in both bands.
Nice.
What kind of places were we playing?
Mm-hmm. Did you play Juanita's? I've heard of that. I never got a chance to go, but...
Juanita's was done by that point. I think it was done by like 97 or 98.
Okay.
They became a bar, or they were a bar, but they changed their format, their booking format, and their layout, and they had 21 Over shows mainly, but they changed their name to the Red Room, and they had some all ages shows.
I remember the Red Room.
Yeah.
I remember. Was that but what it was called before Riff Raff?
I think
Rock
it was.
Bar or
I think
whatever?
it was either the Red Room was first, and then they changed it to Riff Raff after, or the other way around. But I think it was the Red Room briefly, and then they knocked the wall down. Pizza Face Pizza was next door.
That's right. Okay, so now we're getting into an era that I kind of remember. Which
This
was,
is like
yeah.
the 98, 99 when the Juanita's turned into Red Room Riff Raff era. They knocked the wall down, so it became a pizza joint / bar that you could kind of get your slice and then walk right into the bar, and the bands were essentially right there.
That's pretty sweet. And did Isabel play the Red Room and these kinds of bars back in the day?
Oh, absolutely.
I actually have a band here that's before Isabel that I want to play for you because I know that you're a fan of this band. I think you probably actually got a chance to see them live. I did not. I never got a chance to see this band. They're called Death Star, and this song is from 1996, and this is Kelly Bauman on guitar and vocals, and Ken Lovegreen on bass, and the drummer is Jim Rizzuto. This is a song called Shut Down. You're listening to KZFR. The name of the show is Long Gone Locals. We're listening to old rock bands that are hard to find these days.
Smoking too fast and it goes to your head. Still I'm never understanding the things I was saying. The comedy is under my skin. I'm so uncomfortable, waiting for the joke to sink in. Never been as crucial, trying to be social.
Lord. Okay, that's Death Star. That's a song called Shut Down. I think I've probably listened to that song like over 400 times, and I am shocked at like just how heavy that outro gets, because it's like this fun rocking song at the beginning, but this moment right here. That is so heavy. And then it gets even heavier right here. Like, good Lord, how do you do, like, I don't even know how to play the guitar like that. Like, they must have like put together. If you're joining us, you're listening to KZFR, and we're listening to Long Gone Locals. My name's Cameron Ford. I'm here with Travis Wuerthner, and we're listening to really old music. That's Death Star's Shutdown from 1996. Guitarist is Kelly Bauman, bassist is Ken Lovegreen, drummer is Jim Rizzuto. The shows that you saw Death Star do, where would they play? Where would you go see Death Star back in the day?
Well, I only saw them once in their heyday at the Blue Room in 97. I started going to shows at the Blue Room around that time.
97.
That might have been my first Blue Room experience as far as the rock there. I'd been to the theater many times, but this is my first rock show at the Blue Room, was Death Star.
A lot of the stuff that we're playing today on KZFR as part of this show, Long Gone Locals, that we're doing right now, is rediscovered MP3s. That last one, you can definitely find it online. That was Death Star's Shutdown. And this next one you can also find online, but this is a very particular version of a song called The Starting Line by Number One Gun. It's actually from their album Forever, and you'll hear slight differences in this version compared to the one that you find online. So we're about to listen to Number One Gun's The Starting Line. You're listening to KZFR, and this show is called Long Gone Locals.
Was it perfection that you wanted? Always had it up to pay your fault to your mistakes. just wanted to get this started. Just wanted to get this started. Just wanted to get this started.
You're listening to KZFR. That was Number One Gun, the starting line. And you can tell it's the old version because I think the newer re-recorded version of that doesn't have that final outro. I think he just says, just wanted to get this started. And then that's the end of the song. So we're digging through old MP3s here today. My name's Cameron Ford. I'm a local singer-songwriter here in Chico. And I'm here with Travis Wuerthner, the guitar player and lead singer of the Americas. Do you have any memories of opening for Number One Gun that you can think of right now? Is this song sort of taking you back at all? Like, do you have any particular shows that you remember playing with them that were amazing, like at the Brickworks or anything like that?
Yeah, I think we did a couple shows with them at the Brickworks, and those were just so fun because we weren't, able to play there without them headlining because we couldn't sell enough tickets, for Justin to book us there for our little shows. So
yeah,
whenever Number One Gun had a bill to fill, they would ask us, and we were stoked because we always wanted to play there. We went to see shows there all the time, and we were like, man, it'd be fun to play here. Too bad we can't sell the tickets, but
yeah,
those guys could, so they asked us to play, and the kids were stoked. They loved it.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's what friends are for, right? You know what I mean? Is making sure that they can, include their buddies on a bill like that. Because I remember going to those shows, and it was so special to be able to watch your band open up for Number One Gun, because you were so different and you were so sort of strange compared to anything else that I'd ever heard before. So Number One Gun is Jeff Schneewise and Trevor Sellers on bass and Jordan Mallory on drums. There was a rotating group of guitar players. Sounds like it was Alex before Ryan Zachary. And then after Ryan, I think it was Ben, right? Ben Teets?
Ben joined on guitar
later. And then Chris Keene, right? Chris Keene took over after Ben.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So a lot of people in that Number One Gun crew, but we want to make sure we give shout-outs to everybody who's a part of that band because they're here on my playlist here for today's show on KZFR. You're listening to Long Gone Locals. In case you're just tuning in, my name's Cameron Ford. I'm a local singer-songwriter. I was able to mine a hard drive for old MP3s. And this one specifically, I'm curious to see what Travis thinks about this one after we listen to it, because this is actually an old song from Sincerely Me. This is not actually Brighton. Sincerely Me went on to actually become a different band named Brighton, who toured the country with Isley. But before that, they were Sincerely Me, and we're going to listen to a song called Say What You Wanted to Say. You're listening to KZFR. You're listening to KZFR. That was Sincerely Me, Say What You Wanted to Say. Sincerely Me is an old Chico rock band, and today we're actually digging through old MP3s. You're listening to Long Gone Locals. These are all bands that are no longer playing anymore, and my name's Cameron Ford. I'm a singer-songwriter here in Chico. And what we're doing here, me and Travis Wuerthner from the Americas is sitting across from me, is listening to old tunes from old bands that I used to grow up on, just so we can sort of do a little bit of digging here and find some cool songs that people probably don't remember, actually where they went. This song pops into my head all the time because it was one of the first times that I saw a band play live. Actually, Sincerely Me played on the Pleasant Valley High School campus when I was like a freshman at Pleasant Valley, and it filled me with jealousy and envy because they were getting so much more attention than I was. So I decided in that moment that I wanted to become as cool as Justin Richards, the guitarist and lead singer of the band. Bassist for Sincerely Me is Alex Draper, and he also does some vocals, and the drums are done by Jimmy Richards, who's Justin's brother. And I'm sitting here with Travis, so I'm sure Travis remembers Sincerely Me. Do you remember the first time you saw these guys?
Oh yeah, they were really good. They were so young. They were quite a bit younger than us.
They're younger than me. I know they were underclassmen, I think. So I must have seen them when I was like a sophomore or junior, and they were freshmen, because they're a few years behind me at Pleasant Valley. But where'd you see them play? What kind of spots would Sincerely Me play in town?
I think we did a show with them at the Old Senator Theater.
Whoa,
if I'm not mistaken.
The big theater downtown.
Yeah, we used to do shows there in the lobby. They let us
What?
set up our gear and play there. I think we did a show with Sincerely Me there. I could be wrong, but
That sounds amazing. I wonder why they put a stop to that. I'd love to go see a show in the lobby at Senator.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong with that place. Unfortunately, it was so cool to be there and to be able to put on our own shows there, and then they pulled the plug on it at some point, and we were sad, but
I know
we had some good times there.
Who ran the shows there? Was it Tolar or something back in the day who would do that, or who would Justin Maximov, or like how would that work?
Yeah, it was mostly Justin, but I never dealt with Justin with that. I just dealt with DNA, the guy that used to promote the concerts in the park.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So early 2000s, he acquired the space to put on, small shows, and, he was like, yeah, you can book any bands you want here. And that was short-lived, but
Yeah.
for a while I was able to put together, some touring bands and then some local bands, and Sincerely Me was one of them.
That's great, man. I remember people used to joke and tease them and call them number 2 gun. Do you remember that? I always felt like that was unfair. I always thought that they had a different sort of vibe compared to number 1 gun, but you can kind of hear the influence though, right? You can kind of hear that there's a lot of the same guitar riffs and stuff that are happening in number 1 gun and Sincerely Me. But Sincerely Me ended up dropping that name. They ended up going over to become Brighton, and that was a much more mature sound that was not influenced exclusively by number 1 gun. I think Brighton would be more characterized as like I don't know, like an alt rock band, because they started using keyboards and started getting a lot crazier with like their tones and their vibes. If you want to check out a really cool song, you should listen to Nicotine, Darling Nicotine by Brighton. That's like a very good example, I think, of the progression of Justin Richards' songwriting. From
Such a great title.
Have you heard that song, Darling Nicotine?
But I want to hear it now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have it. See, Darling Nicotine, because you can look that up online, it's not part of today's set list. You know what I mean? Say What You Wanted to Say by Sincerely Me is definitely on today's set list. We just listened to that song here on KZFR. If you're just tuning in, we're listening to Long Gone Locals is what I'm calling the name of this show. I'm sitting across from Travis Wuerthner, another local musician here in town. And Travis, we're going to listen to a little more music here. And this one in particular comes to us all the way from Casey Ellis. He texted me this MP3 last night because I could not find this song online. But this is a Chico band called the Electric Pie Band. And this song is called the Pie Band Theme Song. You're listening to KZFR. You're listening to KZFR. That was the Electric Pie Band with the Pie Band theme song. I'm showing that that came out in 2004. I'm hoping that that's the right year. It might have been earlier than that. The vocals are done by Marty Parker. The guitar is by David Balog. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right, David Balog. Wes Jensen is on drums, and Casey Ellis plays bass for the Electric Pie Band. We're listening to Long Gone Locals right now on KZFR. These are old MP3s that are extremely rare from Chico bands. Hard to find online because they came out during a time when people weren't really uploading their music to Bandcamp or SoundCloud. They were just simply making CDs or vinyl, and it's hard to come by these songs. And that song's only 1 minute and 17 seconds long, and it is appropriately titled the Pie Band theme song. I'm sitting across from Travis Wuerthner from the Americas, and I know that you've probably played a few shows with the Electric Pie Band. Do you remember the first time you saw these guys?
I think we might have played with them once. I want to say maybe at Tower Records.
Yeah, that's a dated reference right there. So Tower Records was still around at the time of the Electric Pie Band. And do you remember how the show went? Do you think it was well attended? Were people really into the Pie Band?
No, it was, after the store had closed, and when the store closed, they let the band set up, and the door was wide open, and if people wanted to walk by and check it out, they could. If not, they could walk on by, and it was a lot of people walking on by.
A lot of people just uninterested at what's happening at Tower Records.
But the people that did come in had a good time, and they asked us, why isn't there people here? And it's like, well, we don't really promote these shows. We just they just let us set up here, and we get to play in a record store.
We don't want them here.
I don't think they wanted, 50 people, climbing the walls and sweating all over the nice music they have in their store.
I know. I'm glad you mentioned Tower Records, actually, because I remember we played a show there, and we were so new on the scene.
Secret Stolen?
This is Secret Stolen, yeah. And we were so new on the scene that we didn't know that it wasn't cool to wear basketball shorts while you play in a band. And what happened was we had this show booked at Tower Records, and there was another band from Sacramento on the bill. It must have gotten thrown together by whoever was at Tower Records booking the show, because they said, oh, we like Secret Stolen. Here, let's bring up this other sort of tech rock band from Sacramento that we like. They're called Brilliant Red Lights. Brilliant Red Lights came up, and these are like the city boys. These are like the city rockers, and they see us, me and Nolan, my brother who was in the band, wearing our basketball shorts, and they said, you guys, you got to get rid of the basketball shorts, man. This is horrendous. We're just like these small town bumpkins who think it's okay. So they clowned on us because we were wearing basketball shorts. And what was interesting about that show, the big takeaway, was actually that was the night that one of my favorite bands from Sacramento just happened to be traveling through and knew Brilliant Red Lights. So they split their set. They were called Terramellos. And they ended up playing an instrumental set that just changed everybody's life that night at Tower Records. Rest in peace, Tower Records, also the home for many America's shows and many Electric Pie Band shows, it sounds like. So what we are doing today, ladies and gentlemen, is listening to a lot of old MP3s. I'm sitting here with Travis Wuerthner from the Americas, and we're going to listen to a song now by Cabrini Green. This song is called Your Eyes Alive, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it with Travis. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to KZFR.
I can't forget those nights.
Yeah, you're listening to KZFR, and that was Cabrini Green, Your Eyes Alive. This is a show called Long Gone Locals. We are playing music that is in MP3 format because you can't find this stuff online. These are old Chico bands. My name's Cameron Ford. I'm a singer-songwriter here in town, sitting across from Travis Wuerthner from the Americas. And Travis, this is Cabrini Green, another one of Ben's bands, but you can kind of hear the progression, though, between Isabel and Cabrini Green here. Wasn't their drummer, I remember specifically remembering their drummer because he knew how to sing this harmony while he did the drum roll. I'm going to play you my favorite part of that song that we just listened to. Right here. Here, listen to the drum roll, because he sings the backup. He holds that note, everything, while going... And I remember seeing that at LaSalle's and being like, how in the world do you hold everything? Because your vocals got to move around a little bit. But he did it, and it just blew my mind. I think his name's James something, right?
It was James from $7 Jacket.
James from $7 Jacket, that's right.
He has a great voice.
Yeah, dude. Well, he crushed that upper harmony in Your Eyes Alive by Cabrini Green. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're listening to old songs. That was Cabrini Green, Your Eyes Alive. Who played bass in that band? Was somebody named Josh or something like that?
Josh Kearney?
Maybe Josh Kearney. Does that sound familiar?
Could
We
be,
this is how old these songs are. Is that there's no vinyl to look at. There's no CD to look at to actually find out who played these parts. But luckily, the next song, there's going to be no issues actually remembering who plays what in this band. This is actually Travis's band. This is my favorite song by the Americas. It's called Siam Brass Knuckles, and you're listening to Long Gone Locals with me and Travis. And Travis is not in a long gone band, but I do want the audience to know the power of my co-host today when it comes to his talent on guitar and vocals here with the Americas. You're listening to KZFR. This is Siam Brass Knuckles by the Americas. Okay, first and foremost, who is that laughing at the beginning of the track?
Oh, that's my signature laugh at everything.
That's you?
I spent a lot of time laughing in the studio.
Look, I was going to say, like, you guys left a laugh in there, and every time I listen to this song, I'm always like, I wonder who that is. So that's you laughing?
Yeah, it's my signature smirk.
Signature smirk. Okay, I won't interrupt it this time. Oh, good Lord. That song's so good. Okay, that is Siam Brass Knuckles by the Americas. You're listening to KZFR. My name is Cameron Ford. I'm a local singer-songwriter, and I'm digging up all of my favorite local bands here to listen to on a little segment here on KZFR that I'm calling Long Gone Locals. That band's not long gone. That's the Americas. We're sitting across from the lead singer and guitar player from the Americas, Travis Wuerthner, today. I'm sitting in Travis's little breakfast nook right now. He's co-hosting this show with me as we travel through time and listen to some of my favorite rock songs. That song, Travis, is an absolute monster of a song. Like, that song, I still listen to that song and think to myself, like, that if you had tasked me with writing a song like that, it would take me 15 years to come close to like half of what that song accomplishes. How long did it take you and Casey to write that song, be honest?
How long did it take us to write the song?
Yeah.
Not very long.
Yeah, like that song.
It was
like
the
how many practices does it take to until that song is done?
Well, it was actually the most collaborative effort of the band, on a level of Casey writing some of the guitar parts, and that's the only America's song that he actually contributed guitar parts to. Yeah.
Very cool. Because some of the way, I mean, the drums always match up really well with the riffs that you play. But that song specifically, there is something happening there that just it confounds me. You know what I mean? Whenever I listen to it, because of the way the drum patterns match, but then sometimes they don't match, and that's like intentional with that guitar riff. Like it's. I think the guitar riff is in 7 or something like that, and then also there's so many sections of that song that are extremely unique. It's by far one of my favorite local songs is Siam Brass Knuckles by the Americas, which is what we just listened to. And can you just describe like what it's like to write an Americas song just in general, not necessarily Siam Brass Knuckles, but like I'm just curious, like where does it start, where does it go, and how does it finish?
Well, particularly Siam Brass Knuckles, like I said, that's the only song where we collaborate on guitar. Casey wrote the guitar part in the breakdown, where I got a lesson to learn. That whole sequence is his on guitar.
Right. God,
and it fit well with what I was doing in the verse, so we added it, and it makes it one of my favorite songs because it's such a collaborative effort. Everything else that we did was largely my guitar parts and my vocal melodies presented to Casey. He would work the format and the sequencing of the parts, and obviously bring what he has to the table with drums and percussion, and that's how we wrote all of our songs. Really,
it would start with guitar and sort of riffing on something, and then he would come in and sort of start structuring it. It sounds like.
Yeah, I would present a basic structure to him, and he would use his fixing abilities, his editing abilities, to kind of take the best of my stuff and either whittle it down or extend it how he saw fit with his capabilities and drums. And then occasionally he would add a guitar part. He only did it in that one song, but it made it fun that, we could always refer to either stuff that he had or stuff that I was doing. It was a very collaborative band, but as far as guitar, I wrote all the guitar parts for every other song.
That's so interesting. I never knew that Siam Brass Knuckles was like the one. That's kind of like Nirvana, like Dave Grohl's
Scentless Apprentice.
Yes, yeah, Dave Grohl.
It's our Scentless Apprentice.
It's your Scentless Apprentice, exactly. It's the only one where Dave Grohl actually gets like the credit for the guitar riff or something, Yeah, man. Like I love listening to the Americas and Casey's, really a one of a kind drummer. It's really special to be able to listen to these old songs because he played drums for Isabel, right?
He did.
And so he's got the drum chops that you hear in that first song that we played in the program, Photographs. So he knows how to play in 4/4, and he knows how to just crush through all these amazing drum rhythms. What was it like, sort of like beginning to play with him? How did the Americas start? Because he play drums in Micromagnesia?
No, he wasn't in Micromag. He was our producer, essentially. He would come and record our demos and, bring what he had to the table as far as producing and editing and stuff. but he was never in the band.
He was never in the band, but he was sort of a side guy.
He was like the official fourth member. You know? He was always working on our records with us. And
George Martin of
oh, absolutely,
of Micromag.
He's absolutely the George Martin of that band.
That's really cool. What was the first sort of practice like with Casey and the Americas? Because you can see him play really well in all these other bands. And did you ask him like, hey, like I want to start this band that's going to be just two people. It's a little bit different than all this other stuff that we're listening to. Like it's still different than Number One Gun and Isabel and all that. Or like, how did that work?
Well, those bands, actually, Isabel had probably just started, like, the same week that we started.
Okay.
Same month. Late in the year 2000. Both of our bands had just broken up. Micromac had just ended. His band, Either, had just broken up. We were kind of in the same boat, and we were listening to the same bands, and it was just like, why not play together? We like all the same music.
Yeah.
We can come up with something pretty quick and start playing shows again, which we missed. Casey was doing stuff, but I was, not doing anything at the time. My band just broken up, and I was eager to get back in the saddle. And Casey, pulled up in the drive-thru at Jack in the Box. I was working, and he's like, "You want to jam sometime?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!"
You're like, "Hell yeah!" You want fries with that? You want fries with that, Jam?
We had a couple practices, and then I quit Jack in the Box and started just doing Americas full time at that point.
Yeah, man, the Americas were so special, not just because you and Casey are one of a kind musicians. Like, obviously Casey's great at drums, but you're a very unique guitar player and singer as well. So it's a really special group, I think, for Chico music to have you guys in the tapestry of it.
Sadly, we called it quits in January of last year.
So you're on this long gone local list that I have.
We're not long gone, but we're pretty recently gone.
You're pretty recently gone, yeah.
So I don't know if I can say it on your program, but I'm going to say it. The Americas are f***ing dead. But the partnership lives on.
Yeah.
We have a new band that we're tinkering with. It's called Kid Cops.
Kid Cops? Okay, radical, man. Yeah.
Still me and Casey, but we added our friend Matt Houghton on guitar.
I can't wait to see Kid Cops play Chico local show. Like maybe you'll play the Argus or something, Argus Bar, because those were some of my favorite America's shows. Were actually at the Argus.
We love it there.
It's a great local music venue that is just starting to do shows again now that COVID's on its way out and that things are starting to open up. So maybe we'll be able to see Travis and Casey's new band Kid Cops real soon here. Moving along with our program, Long Gone Locals, we're playing old MP3s, and this next one, I'm just going to play this for Travis and see if he can tell me what band this is. He's laughing now. He knows what it is. Do you know what band that is?
Care Paravel?
It's the Care Paravel. Yeah, that's John Wesley on lead vocals.
Once I heard those sweet lead vocals.
The sweet John Wesley.
Buddy John Wesley.
Yeah, man. This is Care Paravel. Like I said, these MP3s are so rare and so strange that they came to me from a friend who lives in San Francisco now. His name is Travis Zachary. Thank you again, Travis, for sending these MP3s up to me. But this song is called Track 1. I don't even know the name of this song.
Another great song title.
Yeah, this is another one of those songs that you can't find it anywhere, though. You can't find any of this Care Paravel stuff online. If you try to go listen to it on MySpace, the MySpace player is broken. You can't listen to any of that stuff anymore. So anyways, we're going to actually jump into a Care Paravel song. You're listening to KZFR. We're listening to Long Gone Local Bands. My name's Cameron Ford, and we're with Travis Wuerthner from the Americas. This next song is by Care Paravel, and Care Paravel called this song Things Will Never Be the Same. So we're about to listen to that right now. Yeah, Care Paravel. Things will never be the same. This is KZFR, and you're listening to Long Gone Locals. This is a bunch of songs from the past that are extremely hard to find because the band broke up, or they have not uploaded these songs to Spotify or Bandcamp. That one in particular, luckily, I was able to actually discover the name of the song just by listening to it and accessing my long-term memory. That song's called Things Will Never Be the Same by Care Paravel. If you're just joining us, my name is Cameron Ford. I'm your host. I'm a singer-songwriter here in Chico, California, and I'm joined by Travis Wuerthner, the guitar player and the lead singer of The Americas, who have now actually converted into a new band called Kid Cops. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to turn the mic over to Travis for a moment here because it's my understanding that The Americas and Care Paravel actually went on a tour at one point back in the day. How far did that tour go? What was the furthest show that you guys played on that tour?
Oh, that was a long tour. We made it to Detroit.
Detroit?
Yeah.
That is far. Holy mackerel. Do you remember how the Detroit show went?
Oh, the Detroit show was awesome, except that there was no PA.
So you had to sing just over the music? Like,
Yeah, essentially there were no audible vocals. But that made it great for me because I could just, kind of run around and
scream.
be wacky and not be confined to the ball and chain of the mic stand, So it was great.
Right on, man. How long was that tour?
Oh, it was like almost a month. But we had to cut it short because we ran out of money and
The
had
band
to cancel like the last leg of the tour. It was sad, but we made it to Detroit and we promised ourselves as long as we made it to Detroit, we call it a success.
I know what you mean. I was so jealous of everybody in that band in Care Paravel when I found out that they were going to go on tour with the Americas. The band is on keyboards and vocals John Wesley, who also plays a little bit of acoustic guitar. Guitars is Riley Plum, and bass is Alex Draper. Drums is Daniel Martin. I remember at that time when Care Paravel came out, my band was just getting going. And I really loved local music. I loved the Americas. And the fact that John, who was a friend of mine, John Wesley from high school, was able to go on tour and share the van, with all these like awesome musicians and actually tour and go all the way out to Detroit. I remember being like, God, I got to figure that out someday. That sounds amazing. How did it work booking tours back then?
That tour I booked all myself.
Do you use MySpace or do you call? What is it, 2005, 2006 or something like that? When that tour happened?
It was 2006. MySpace was the ticket back then.
Right.
But it was still a lot of just, emailing and phone calls,
You're like, put us in your top 8, man. MySpace top 8.
Oh, the drama. So I'm top 2 now, huh?
I know.
All right, I see how it is.
That was a big deal. Exactly. Yeah, man, MySpace was a big deal when it comes to booking tours back then. And then, but the fact that you guys were able to be, a Chico outfit and make it all the way out to Detroit is actually pretty impressive. I think that's really cool that Americas and Care Paravel were, reaching that far to take local music all the way out to a Detroit venue. What was the best show of that tour, if you can remember? What was a particularly memorable show that was like, wow, this was great? Like maybe a big audience, or maybe even a big payout. You know what I mean? Like whatever it was. Do you have any specific memories about that Care Paravel tour?
Oh yeah, I think all the West Coast stuff was pretty rad, and once we start heading east, it just got tough, and it wasn't the van's fault. It was a good van, but it was the trailer. We were still using trailers back then, and we learned our lesson on that tour that is not exactly the way to go.
Yeah, on the highway.
On the highways,
in big cities. Big city highway driving with a trailer. Nightmare.
Yeah, it was a total nightmare. We were getting flats, every 1,000 miles or every 100 miles, really.
Yikes.
It was a nightmare, yeah. By the time we got to the Midwest, we had spent all our money on van repairs just to get to Omaha, Nebraska.
Jeez.
And had to cancel a Fargo show, Fargo, North Dakota. we made it pretty close, but we just weren't able to get there with the van repairs that were necessary at the time. We're able to, eke our way to Detroit, crunched the numbers the next morning and said, guys, we got to cancel Texas. We got to cancel New Mexico, Kansas, Arizona, all that stuff.
Jeez. So who made that call? Was it you who had to tell
Oh, we had to
everybody?
have a sit down.
Yeah.
And I was, the lone opposing voice.
Yeah. You were like, no, we got to
I
play
was
these
like,
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got to do these shows. And they're like, yeah, it'd be great to do these shows, but unfortunately we got to go back to Chico because we're not going to make it to Texas from Detroit. So it's a big eye-opener, We learned our lesson about trailers that day, right then and there, to not use them anymore.
Well, it's not like it broke your spirit either. I mean, like
absolutely
the
not.
Americas continued to tour after that. I remember you telling me, "Oh yeah, we're going on tour." Like you guys still went out, right?
It only fanned the flames to tour more.
Yeah. You're like, now we know how to do this. So we're learning how to get.
Now we got better at just the logistics of touring with a van and a trailer and all the thousands of pounds of equipment you have to lug around.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that the next tours that we did after that were much more streamlined, and we knew what we were doing a lot more. Yeah, but unfortunately, Care Paravel had to go through some pretty rough stuff on that tour. But they were the best dudes to tour with. They were just like gung ho all the way. They were very supportive and like just the most awesome dudes to be on the road with.
In retrospect, I mean, I say I was jealous of those guys because I loved your band and like what a dream come true to be able to tour with your band. Maybe I dodged a bullet on that one. I probably would have cried like a little girl, a little baby. You know what I mean? Like would have had some serious problems on that.
We were having too much fun, hanging out at Jiffy Lube and
That's where the party's at.
eating
man.
French fries. We have some great pictures of us, actually lifting up the trailer off of the highway, and it took all 6 of us to like move it.
Wow.
And we have some great pictures of us just like, like we're working on a chain gang, like moving the trailer, and it's just like it's just such a great, image of everything that we were trying to do, and it was just an uphill battle. Yeah.
Well, we're coming to the end of the program today. Travis, thank you for joining me. I've got just a couple of more songs left. Do you have time, or do we have to cut it off now at 5 o'clock? It's
Oh no, I got time for Red Robot. Absolutely.
I was gonna say we definitely have time for my favorite local band. Actually, favorite Reddit
Semi-local.
band. Semi-local, yeah. Let's listen to. This is the song that. I've got a few that changed my life. One of them was written by you when I saw it, Cyan Brass Knuckles, and then the other one's The Starting Line by Number One Gun. Those were huge moments in my life as far as like, okay, this is what rock music can do. Now, what do I want to do? Like, which one of these bands am I just going to start shamelessly ripping off with my own music? And I found this band because they played Moxie's Cafe. Do you remember Moxie's Cafe downtown?
Yeah, that was the first America's show in Chico was at Moxie's.
That was the first America show?
In Chico, yeah.
In Chico.
Our first show was in Anderson at the Boy Scouts Hall.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So you guys, your first show wasn't even in Chico.
No, we got asked to do a show at the Boy Scouts Hall in Anderson with our friends. We had a bunch of friends in Reading that all played in bands, and that was our first show. Yeah, it was great.
There's a little Chico rock history there, is that the Americas did not play their first show in town. That's a little Chico local trivia right there.
Yeah, after we called it quits, we released a live album actually on Bandcamp exclusively. And the photograph on that cover is from our very first show.
I've seen that photograph. It's in black and white, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a row of like 8 or 9 people standing in front of you guys, and you guys are just crushing it. Like, it's the classic punk rock sort of no stage. Band is on the same level as the audience, and audience is at eye level. You know what I mean? Like, can you look at you right in the face? And it's
it was our very first show. We had I had been there only once before to Reading area in my old band, and it was right before we broke up, and then we got the opportunity to go up to Anderson and do our first like Reading area show, and there was over 100 kids at that show.
Wow.
The headliner Jimmy Rigg, the great Reading band Jimmy Rigg, brought out all the hardcore Reading kids, and it was just a big party really and outside after they played.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was an actual keg, in the parking lot. But and then it was late at night. It was probably midnight by the time we took the stage, and all our friends stuck around for us and cheered us on for our very first live performance, and we got that great photo out of it. So
it's a great.
It was on
picture.
Groundhog's Day, 2001.
Oh, really? 2001 Groundhog Day is the first America show. It's a great picture. I've seen it when you guys released the album. I was like, that's a neat spot. I didn't know that was your first show. So Moxie's hosted the Red Robot, and I'm in high school, and I think I come to watch your band because I was watching you locally. And I thought to myself, well, I should go check out their show at Moxie's. And Red Robot either opened, America's almost always closed out the show. That was always kind of like your guys' thing locally. Didn't matter if the bill was, 5 bands or 2 bands. You almost always went before the Americas whenever you played in town in Chico. And this band went on before you, and so I got a chance to watch them open. They're from Reading. They're called the Red Robot. And I remember specifically them opening with this song, and let's listen to it and then talk about it. This is the Red Robot, The Reason I Don't Leave My House Anymore. What a freaking song. What a monster 1 minute and 21 second song by the Red Robot. You're listening to KZFR. This is Cameron Ford, a singer-songwriter here in Chico. And I'm with Travis Wuerthner from the Americas right now. As we go down the long list of long gone locals, you just heard the Red Robot's, my favorite song from them, called The Reason I Don't Leave My House Anymore. And that moment in that song where they finish sort of introducing themselves with that riff, and then he screams at the top of his lungs, "When I look at my window!" So that moment, when you watch them play that part live, the build-up, it's a 35-second intro. I'm looking at the timestamp right now on Bandcamp. It's a 35-second intro, and then Matt Calderon, the guitar player and vocalist, and Tayton White, the other guitar player and vocalist, when they get to that part live, they just shout it at the top of their lungs. They don't even say it into the microphone. And I'm sitting there at Moxie's watching this, and they finish that intro, and I'm like, wow, these guys play really loud and fast, and this is amazing. And then as soon as they hit that part, they literally throw their guitars over their shoulders, looking right in the face, and just scream together in unison, "When I look out my window, ba-na-na-na, I feel the whole world is looking at me, ba-na-na-na, a blip on the radar screen, da-na-na-na, target acquired and lit." That was the first 4 lines that I heard from these guys when I saw them at Moxie's Cafe in 2005. It scared me so much that because I fell in love with that band after that, and ever since then I've been obsessed with the Red Robot. Do you remember the first time that you saw the Red Robot, Travis? Do you remember what songs particularly stand out from them, or just moments about that band?
Oh, yeah. We were really excited when they started up. They had all been in previous bands that Micromag had played with in our first trip to Reading in 2000. We play with Basai, Hand Over Fist. Those are Matt and Tatan's bands.
Yeah.
Just both amazing bands. So they Red Robot started up probably late 2001, 2002-ish. I think they probably played their first show in 2002. So we were running full steam by then. But we just didn't have a band that we played with regularly in Chico as much. We would play with, Isabel and Number One Gun and stuff. But, in style and substance, we were a lot closer to Red Robot. So we enjoyed playing shows with them. And when we shared a bill in Reading or Chico or anywhere, it was like, we meant business, and it was a full package with the two bands on the bill.
Yeah. No, it is a full package. A Red Robot America's concert is one of the cool. I mean, I wish that I could go back and watch something like that right now, because I really was very blessed as a young teenager with the ability to just ride my bike downtown and see a show like this at Moxie's Cafe. The fact that there was an all ages venue that would allow for this this level of like genuine, intense talent to come through and play music like this, and just shock me in a way that, I'm sure a lot of people who grow up in indie rock scenes have stories like this. But this to me is the sort of crux of this entire show, which is that I'm very, very blessed and very lucky that these bands all existed in my hometown, with the Americas being from Chico and the Red Robot being from Reading, and coming down the Highway 99 to come and show us how it's done. Did you have any sort of closing thoughts on any of this? I'm going to play one more song, and then we're just going to call it. You're listening to KZFR, where we just went through all of my favorite songs in this segment called Long Gone Locals. Travis, any closing thoughts, and any bands that I missed, or any songs that you particularly think that we should try and dig up for next time? Maybe we want to do this again. I don't know.
Oh, I'd absolutely love to do this again.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah, I get to listen to old tunes, and it's hard to find some of this stuff. The Red Robot, you can find it, but a lot of those bands, Isabel and Sincerely Me, Pie Band.
I think Electric Pie Band is the most obscure on that list, and Cabrini Green for sure.
Cabrini Green, and you know what? Those songs sound great. I don't know. I got to figure out. I got to like text Ben or something and be like, "Hey man, let me upload those songs. Give the people what they want."
Anything by Land of the Wee Beasties, the great Chico band from the mid '90s. There's a couple things on YouTube you should check out. It's a pretty amazing band from Chico that, was very short-lived, like Death Star, and just, changed our lives at that point in time. And Chico was just such a rich musical place back then. It was just unbelievable, the stuff that we saw back then at that age, at 14, 15 years old, and got us hooked on live music forever.
I'm still hooked.
Chico was a great place for that, and Reading was great too. Reading had, it was such a dichotomy from the Chico scene, which was Chico, you would go to a show and it was late at night, and it was mainly a place to hang up to go to the bars later. The show is where everybody kind of gets, hey, how you doing? Like, let's go to the bar, and the music was kind of like secondary to like the thing, which was the party, the after party,
Sure, yeah.
In Reading, you get there and there's 100 kids at every show, and it's always all ages.
Right.
And it's like 5 or 6 bands on the bill, and they're all great. And then you get done, it's it's like 9, 10 o'clock, it's like, all right, where's the after party?
Yeah.
And they're like, that was it. That was the party. That was the show.
The show
like,
was
you mean
the
there's
party.
nothing afterwards?
And I'm sure it became, because Chico's got that drinking culture, right? Everyone was like, oh, great, Chico's in town.
Reading
so
was straight edge.
Yeah, Reading straight edge. Chico's a drinking town. So when we come to town, they're like, all right, guys, as soon as the show's over at 10, you got to go back to Chico. You got to go home.
Well, we were thrilled to bring Red Robot to Chico, and they were just the best band that we played with at that time. We were stoked that they were from Reading and that we got to have a relationship, kind of a brother band relationship with them.
Totally.
And they got us in the Reading scene. And
did you ever tour with them?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You did? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Any memories from those tours? What was the best?
Yeah, those tours were awesome. You know,
Yeah.
those tours I had help from Matt from Red Robot booking and stuff. So it's, collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Totally. And those guys were awesome too, man, to tour with, and they just gave it their all every night. And they actually lasted a little bit longer. They didn't tour much after that, after we did some of those early tours with them, but they continued to put out music, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just a tremendous band, all those guys.
Yeah, dude.
Amazing musicians.
They rule. I'm glad we can agree on that. All right, y'all. You've listened to KZFR for this program. This was Long Lost Locals. We went ahead and listened to a bunch of different bands from Chico and Reading that you should be tuned into, but it's real hard to tune into them because a lot of their MP3s aren't online. So thank you very much, Travis, for joining me. My name's Cameron Ford. I'm going to sign off with this song by The Red Robot called Reliance of Production. The Red Robot is Tayton White on guitar and vocals, Matt Calderon on guitar and vocals, as well as Noah Prado on drums and Adam Prado on bass. Did I flip that, or does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Noah plays drums, Adam plays bass, and we're listening to The Red Robot. You're listening to KZFR. Signing off, this is Cameron, and that is Travis.
So long.
So long.
Smog, you look outside, the skies are gray. I look outside.